Nhiều lái sĩ thì học hết trơn.
Hunter, where are you going?
Do what?
Where are you going?
I'm at work.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in my car on mobile.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 40 minutes. I don't think I'll even make that 40 minutes. Let me get something else. So we're trying to go through this as quickly as possible. We're going to try to ask more questions than usual. So we'll see how that goes. Feel free to talk into the chat or just speak out, whichever one works for you. Although I don't know where the chat got moved to when that happened. Okay, weird. It's all gone. Anyway, so this is our meeting online. We'll get used to it, I guess. We're gonna have to. It may not always be from like my office at home. It may just be being at work, unless I close my office on campus. But we'll see. So, what we're doing today, we'll just discuss one example argument and one example follow-up argument from pack prints. We'll explore some possible methods to take. We'll maybe talk about some video stuff, and then we'll begin discussing topics for our papers. So just another time, I've changed up the assignment again because I felt like I had to force you all into like a video essay, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah, so the Unit 3 assignment short, you're going to research an issue. Oh, I have something else. Oh. Okay. So yeah, so research an issue of importance to you that pertains to the campus or community. Compose 2 texts recognizing your own unique skill set and choosing the genres, media, and conventions that have the best chance of persuading 2 distinct and different audiences, and should be 3 to 5 pages. And then change the time on this, but create a 5 to 8 minute multimodal project with the presentation. So you should introduce your project to the class. If doing a video, this can be done in the first couple of minutes. And clue us in on your intended audience. Explain why you chose your particular topic, how you conduct your research, and how you adapt this project to a video, while explaining the specific rhetorical choices you made during this process. On top of this, you'll discuss your paper in a new and different way. This should not be a summary of what you've just done or what you've already done, but an add-on that builds upon the work that you've already accomplished. So yeah, now that we've covered that, here are the due dates. I'm willing to be negotiated with this, considering everything that's gone on. So if somebody doesn't like when the proposal's due or when the rough draft is, we'll work with it because we have a lot of crap to deal with right now. So yeah, tomorrow was the ideal time for the proposals for the projects to be due. We'll see how that works out because I'm sure nobody knows what they want to talk about because everybody's distracted. So maybe we'll push that back, but then it gives us less time to work on a rough draft. So we'll see. I had intended for the 6th of next month to be our paper peer review, which I would just select people randomly and put them in groups and have them share the papers with each other and leave comments on them on Google Docs or through email or something like that. Then you'd send your rough draft to me on the 11th, and then I say video essay here, but multimodal portion of the project would be due on the 15th for peer review, and then the paper polisher has to be due on the 18th, and the 27th and 29th would be the presentation of the video essay or the multimodal project, which we'd all have to just come in into a section like this and share with each other. Each person has to take over the screen or something. And then the 4th and the 6th would be the final portfolio submissions and individual meetings. So like I said, we have a lot of time to work with, and it doesn't have to be so soon because we do have everything going on. So if everybody feels like they need a proposal due at a later time, let me know. I do wish I could see the chat so somebody could type in if they wanted to. I don't know where it went. I don't know. I feel stupid. Okay, there it is. I'll keep that on my screen over here. Great. So yeah, does anybody have any suggestions? Do you think it's too soon for the proposals? Are you not ready to choose a topic? Is anybody struggling to come up with their ideas or anything? You can type it in, you can say it, whichever one works for you. Anybody? I see somebody.
How do we get to the chat? Oh, never mind. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I barely know how to use this program, but it seems a bit easier than Blackboard, Collaborate, or WebEx. At the time being, I have a meeting on this um, at 1 as well, and then I have a class on Zoom at 5:30 tonight. It's gonna be a terrible day full of Zoom. But yeah, so does anybody not want the proposal due tomorrow? Is everybody okay with the topics? Do we need some extra time? Okay, you don't have any problems with due dates. Anybody else?
I need more time.
Okay, so what sounds reasonable? Do you need
What
just like a few
what
extra
topic
days?
of this essay?
I'm sorry?
What topic of this essay?
Oh, for the topic. So the topic for the essay is like something you want to bring awareness to. Like you're trying to create an argument with this essay instead of like examining other arguments. You're going to create an argument yourself for something that needs to change in your community or on the college campus or something. You're saying
Okay.
this doesn't work because of this, and we need to do this to fix it. So like one of the examples from our readings today was somebody wanted to do sleep pods on campus to fix grades. That's an example.
Okay, I got it.
Back and forth. So if you feel like I don't want to give you any work over the break because that just sounds terrible. So if you wanted to at least have your proposal to me before the end of the weekend so that your break is free, that also sounds good. But does anybody else have anything to say about any of these at the moment? I'm gesturing toward them like you can see them as I do. Okay. So we'll work at this, at least for the proposal. We'll say by the end of the weekend for the proposal, because I don't want to have to give you anything for the spring break.
Yeah.
So I will be asking more questions today than usual, because I need some interaction with this. So with A State Stream of Restro tomorrow was one of our readings. What is the author's main argument from this one? And you could type it in or you could say it to me. This is a reading from Pack Prince. I think it was page like 103, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna be patient today because I have extra time. I'm actually gonna go grab my copy. Oh, instruction writing argument with 103. So this is actually where's this stupid thing? Oh, okay. 133, not 103. Okay. So I'll actually go ahead and just say it. So, but this one, the main argument was that the author wanted us to put in sleep pods on an A State campus.
We're answering in the chat.
You're entering the chat. Oh, I freaking see it now. Sorry, I have it on a separate monitor. So I was like waiting for somebody to speak, and I looked over at the screens. Sorry. Okay, saying sleep pods on campus. Sleep is important. Need for college students to get adequate sleep. Okay, great. Actually, I'm going to move over to this. No, I don't like that. Okay, great. So yeah, sleep deprivation, student sleep pods on campus. Fantastic. So how is this essay organized differently than other ones we've looked at? And now I'm actually looking at the chat. So if you answer in there, I can see it. No. Oh, I just saw my email from somebody else. I'm so sorry. Okay, great. So just like Hazuki said, it is categorized by challenges that students are facing, as well as like just really organizing things in a way that makes the argument properly laid out. Although this can't, that's not going to work out too well to show. And so, how is this information gathered? And I know I'm asking a lot of like weird questions, but it's just things to think about for like your papers when you do them, how you want to organize and lay out your information. Listen? Oh no, I have a typo in here. Okay, so with this one at least, it was just surveys that were sent out to students on campus, and they had to answer them and then send them back. Typically, since this is not going to be used, okay, great. Studies and then a plus sign, so that works. So yeah, surveys were sent out to students on campus, asking them their opinions. These can just be emailed. If you do have something that you want to do a survey on, you can send it to me, and I could forward it to other professors that I know, and then they can send them to their students if you wanted to ask questions to other people on campus, since we can't even go around asking people anything right now. So the proposed fix as listed in challenge 1, as we mentioned, was the sleep pods already, because those were too closely related. Sleep deprivation is an issue. Sleep pods are an answer. And what else would this help fix, other than just sleep deprivation with students? And I'm gonna keep talking, but I have to say, not being able to like look at everybody. I can see Hunter, thankfully, and bug them for making eye contact. It's a little weird. Just to look at monitors. Okay, great, Scholar. So yeah, it would increase students' focus in class, as well as help address their GPAs and make the university look better by having higher scores and things such as that. We don't really need to go over what's an additional detriment that's associated with the problem. So, of course, how would this change be initiated? How would this person talking about sleep pods, where would they be? Mm-mm-mm.
What do you mean when it says, how would this change be initiated?
So, how would this process of putting in sleep pods be started? Okay, so there's an answer to that one too. This one was kind of lame, but yeah. And then while you're at least thinking about that, like how the change would be, how the sleep pods would be implemented. So where are some possible shortcomings, and then what type of writing style does the author utilize? As long as you answer like one of those three, it's okay. Easiest one I think would be like, what type of writing style does this use? And like keep this in mind for when you write your own. This is why I bring this up. I'm gonna give a few seconds. So the previously we have 12 grades, okay. It's not delay. Okay. excuse me, students totally take advantage of the sleep pods. That is a possible shortcoming. Okay, so that's good enough. I don't want to spend too much time on these questions. I did at least lay out some what I thought were students could oversleep and miss classes, so that is adequate as well. So I kind of had this organized and ready. So like, what is the ultimate argument? Students are neglecting their sleep. How's the organization different? Essays are usually heading. How's the info gathered? Surveys were sent out to students, and percentage of sleeping students. Did I have that? 76%. Proposition one: sleep pods. They also fix attitudes and atmosphere, so just random things. Digital detriment is lower GPA for students, as we discussed. Implementation would be utilize unused space for pods. Their example was like the fifth floor of the library, which I don't even remember what's on the fifth floor. But other benefits like Canvas generates revenue from rentals because they would charge for these pods for sleeping in them for 30 minutes, which doesn't really sound very useful. And I don't know how you would actually kick somebody out after 30 minutes, but apparently some other campuses have used these in the past. So another possible shortcoming, it's creepy. It's not very sanitary. I don't know how often these would be cleaned. And the person proposed using just Flex for the sleep pods, which not everybody uses Flex. Some people use like Express dollars or their actual debit cards. And then the writing style, it's a personal narrative and argument mixture. So the person does use their personal example since it is on campus. So it is in first person. It is kind of informal. So when you're writing this, as long as your audience, your intended audience, needs this sort of insight, this personal insight from you, you're free to use first person as you wish. As normal. And then with sleep, I don't know why I include this too, but I did. So am I also guilty of like not sleeping enough? Yeah, definitely. These are my sleep records for the last few weeks. I'm terrible at getting enough sleep. But this is normal. This is normal. I don't know about you guys, but sleep is not something I have as a priority. So then we have the other thing we had to read, which was sexual assault on campus. And this isn't what is the main issue posed in this letter? I'm sure you can guess that. So what does the writer propose? What does the inclusion of the image add to the letter, and how is this different than the paper? And this one was a little bit further ahead, was like 167 for this one. This was actually a follow-up to somebody else's essay that's not included in this book. So we just get their, I guess, proposed multimodal portion of their project in, which in this case was a letter to the Title IX coordinator, right? Yeah. And had a bit of an infograph for people to look at. So when they did their project, this was their follow-up. This was their multimodal portion of it. They did get this. I mean, purpose is probably sexual assault on campus, of course. But it's also that it's being dismissed too readily, or that there's 1 hour trainings for students to recognize sexual assault and reporting it. But this is just a 1 hour seminar, and that's it. That's the only type of training people get. And that's in making connections, which I don't even remember making connections. That was back in 2008. So I don't know what they're talking about now and how long to discuss it. But yeah, with this little graph. So like if you did something that was like a part of your project and you wanted to do a little graph, this is something that you could do instead, as long as you could at least present it and talk about the choices that you made putting into this little infograph. And I don't know. But yeah, so if you want to do something like that, you could. It just seems like it'd be hard to present, but you would be talking over this. If you didn't want to do a video essay or something, you could have like a letter and then this. Oh, well, they got rid of the 40-minute time limit. That's great. And I don't even, we're not even gonna get close to 40 minutes. So yeah, so with this one, main issue, 1 hour of mandatory sexual assault meeting may not be enough to convince the entire student body to not be shitty people. The proposition, creating a campus accountability map, starting a confidential survey, and changes to the frequency and length of these meeting times. and then the image adds what. So the image adds detailed information and statistics over sexual assault, and it's used to bolster the argument. And then different than a paper, this is in addition to an essay that was submitted, so that's the previous essay wasn't available to us, like I already said. So yeah, this is a different type of follow-up that you could at least think about when we're going on to our other essays or other essay. So yeah, how do you choose a topic? So that depends on like what you're passionate about, which I know doesn't help. As we discussed, this paper is about revealing a problem in the community that you are part of. So like the A-State campus, this could be your workplace, this could be your church group, a band, the game community, your birth country, and so on. Once you've got a problem in mind, think about the following. So who needs to hear your message? Who is your audience? What is the most effective way to talk to this group? What type of formatting is your audience used to? So it doesn't have to look like an essay, as we saw with the challenge listed and the other thing that we looked at. What kind of solutions would you propose? And then what are possible benefits or hindrances? So like what wouldn't work, what needs to be thought about? So these are your limitations, delimitations, things like that. So then once you have your overall paper formatting down in your head, I really wrote that. Also think about what is the best alternative way to bring this up? How would you address a different type of audience in a separate medium? And then how can the multimodal portion of your project be just as, if not more, effective than a paper? So another thing to consider, you may not have to do a video essay if you do not want, as I've been talking about. This would be difficult, so I will be sure to give plenty of tutorials on how to edit and shoot videos just in case, but as you know, I'm not the best at these. You could design something that lays out your information for the separate audience, like the infograph or graph, which I put down. So fantastic. So even more things to consider. The important thing for the second portion of your project is that it is multimodal and addresses a different audience in your paper. So this means your project should be some type of assemblage of multiple elements that work together in order to further your point in a different way. So you need words, images, some sort of sound, maybe, at least you speaking when you're introducing your topic. So if you do create something like this, you will still have to discuss with the class the choices you made while you introduce your project with everyone. This can be done through Zoom, and you just have the software show what is on your screen while you discuss everything. So just do what I'm doing and have the main screen revealed. And then does this help clear things up before we go? I don't think there's too much after this. But is anybody still lost about what we're going to be doing for Unit 3? So this is your time to ask me questions. You can totally chime in with your audio or in the chat, whichever one's more comfortable for you. Uh, so the question was, does this help clear anything up? Do you have any additional questions for what we're going to be working on with Unit 3 and our create your own genre argumentative essay? Okay, great. Anybody else have any additional questions? Because I just have like one thing after this and then it's really short. Okay. What we'll be doing. So with that one, I'm going to go back really quick. So I'll go back to this really quick. So you're going to be researching an issue of importance to you that pertains to the campus or a community that you're a part of. And then you're going to, when you pick your topic, you're going to do a little bit of research over what's already been said about it. So you don't want to repeat anything that people have already discussed, but you can use them to bolster your argument. So it's like, according to so and so, I guess if we use like sleep pods have been shown to help students and increase GPA in the university. But how would we implement it in this university? Maybe something like that. Or if you're talking about like sexual assault on campus, there was like some personal experience with going through the 1 hour trainings and then comparing this to other universities and how well they do theirs, and then seeing what works best for everyone. Okay, so just highlighting. I'm sorry if this is too much. I'm sorry. So we'll, since we're doing the paper version first, that's really what you should be focusing on. So just picking out an issue that you want to argue for, and then doing a little bit of research to see what's been said about it, and then making an argument saying what needs to be done. Like, we need to do this because of this, although this could be a side effect, if that's quick enough. And then, so with Shota, if you do a video peer review, yeah, so if you're doing a peer review, that one's going to be really hard to, if you have a draft of the video essay already done, yeah, you would be sending your video to other people in your group to see how it works. If you just have what you're going to be discussing in your video just typed out, like you have an outline or you have something else that you're going to be reading off of, like a script, then you can send that instead. Just whatever represents your project. If you're going to be having, like, I'm going to be doing this in my video and talk about these things, you're at least getting some ideas of what may work and what doesn't work. So Pearl, was that a quick enough highlight for that? And Showdown, does that answer your question? Okay, great. Where did my original screen go? Here we go. No problem. Okay, so I was thinking out with Friday, we have two different choices that we can go with. We have option one, we have acquire knowledge, not the flu, and Amber Hatcher's Muggles and Mudbloods and Creatures, oh my, racism in the Wizarding World, as two more examples of argumentative essays. And then we have the second option, which is Tech Tales over Y2K, the year 2000 problem, only because it details the Y2K panic, which I'm sure only one of you remembers, and how others were convinced there was a problem, the reaction of the media, and the overall opinions of others years later. Oh, and then I see one more thing. I see two more questions, sorry. So we're going to do peer review through video. So the way I have it in mind so far is peer review, you're just going to be sharing your Google Docs with everybody, and then they're just going to make comments on your paper itself. You don't actually have to meet in video. So you'll just share it with somebody, and then they'll just leave some feedback, and then they're done. You don't actually have to interact unless you want to interact. So that's really up to you there. And then the due date. So for the proposal, we'll say the due date is Sunday by midnight, which is like right before spring break starts. So that should be okay. So I'll bring the due dates one more time. So we'll just say this is what it's going to be, Sunday, the 22nd. So we'll just say that the 22nd for your proposals at least. We'll work on the rest of it later when we have more of an idea of how everything else is going to work. Okay, so I have one person who said option 2. Does anybody else have a preference? Do they need more examples of argumentative essays, or would you want to? You don't care. Or do you want to see something that's we can tie into current events, but I can't. I've been advised not to tie it into current events, so that one's kind of a mixed bag. Okay, so nobody else has a preference. That's one person said option 2. So I guess, yeah, we could just do the video. I'll put that on Blackboard and then share that in an announcement or whatever. And so we'll watch that and then talk about it on Friday. And it can be connected to current events, so I can't bring that part up, but you guys are free to. So does anybody else? Oh, the video is 20 minutes. Well, these readings are like 2 pages and 7 pages. So 9 pages of reading or 20 minutes of video. Okay, so Hazuki says option 1. Okay, this isn't helping. So we have one for option 2, one for option 1. We have another option 1. Okay. This is actually 2 for option 1 now. So it looks like it's more likely going to be more examples. Okay, so 3 for option 1, 2 for option 2. And now it's tied again. I love everybody. Okay, so it's 3 and 3. So as long as one more person tells me option 1 or option 2, we can go ahead and okay. Somebody change theirs to option 1. Okay. Okay, so yeah, then we'll go ahead and do option 1. So we'll have these 2 readings, which these are from Pack Prints. If you still need, if you don't have access to these right now because of everything going on, let me know, and I'll try to get a digital version of these 2 to you, or at least pictures from my phone of them, if that helps. I'm not too sure. But so then we will at least cover 2 more examples of our argumentative essays, what they're doing, and then maybe what you can be doing with your own. So yeah, this is the one I'll make an announcement over on Blackboard. So does anybody else have any other questions or comments? No. Okay. I'm definitely good at giving really long emails, so I'll try to make them shorter. So if anybody has, what's too long as an email? Well, I mean, I do have like the TLDR section of the emails. It's just like a recap. It's like, here's what you should be doing. Um, I'll try to shorten my emails as best as I can. I'm very wordy. If you if you didn't know. Okay. So when I announce it, I'll have a shorter email, and I'll try to have shorter emails. Yeah. So with these, we're still meeting for class time. So yeah, it'll still be counted for with attendance. So as long as you're participating in whatever we're doing that day, whether it's a discussion board or it's a meeting like this or whatever, or doing peer review, as long as you participate in that, then you'll get the attendance for it. And the attendance is tied into a grade. So yeah, I mean, I have to do it regardless. Okay. So with Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings, I'm being advised to still meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But that seems like an additional hurdle to go through. So I'll still have at least assignments for us or things for us to work on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll at least meet once a week. Is my current plan. I'm having a meeting today. Let's go talk about this more. But Friday we're still meeting as normal like this, unless I find something better. And then when we come back, we'll see. We still need to have things. So I may have like a day where it's a discussion board topic, and then a day where it's, of course, it's peer review, or a day just working on writing. But one of those days will definitely be us meeting in some form. It just may not be like this every meeting time. Did that answer that question? Okay. So yeah, anything else before I let everybody go? Okay. So it doesn't look like there are any more questions. So thank you for meeting like this, and I'm sorry that everything's going to crap. I hope everybody's dealing with it okay. Yes, thumbs up icon. So there's something. But yeah, so you're free to go. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'll stick around for just a couple more minutes to answer anything. And then if you feel like you need an additional meeting, let me know and we'll talk in some form, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. You can totally scamper if you're done. I'm going